Hey guys, this is Bruce Marshall from Simpler Trading with a very timely stock idea for you and a recap of the market and what to expect in the next week or so. So let's jump right in. As you can see here, I've got the ES. This is a daily chart of the ES. And today, this was the overnight session last night. The gray is the overnight session. Pretty nice run up here. This morning we were up 41 points, I believe, 44 points. And then did the same thing we do every day. We had a big flush down here, and then we crawled our way back up. This is a voodoo skyline. Did come down a little bit past that, came up 69, 69, and then back down, and so it was kind of a I don't know, uneventful day maybe. We ended up 32 points up on the ES, but let's look at this on a 5-day chart, put this in perspective. So from the high up here, which was 70, what is that, 03, I think. Down here that's 192 point drop, and then we've had about 156. Actually, I had it written down over here, 156 point move back up. So again, lots of back and forth. If you're very nimble and you're trading futures, this is awesome for you. If not, then it's probably a little frustrating. So let's go out to a 20-day chart, and again, we're still going to stick to the ES right now. New all-time, keep hitting new all-time highs. That was actually 7036 that I was talking about, and we're chopping, and then we got a rug pull down here, and thought that this might be the beginning of something bigger, and we had a giant turnaround here. This is off of I believe it's the Greenland news. Yesterday or the day before, I can't remember. Anyway, let's take that and zoom out on the same pattern, just pretty wild volatility in the short term. But let's go out here on a 1-year chart, and you'll see, higher highs. The pattern is still lower left to upper right, but it does look like it's kind of waning a little bit here, and that is partially due to the fact that the Mag 7s are not participating. They make up about 30+% of the SP 500, and we've had a big, since December down here, we kind of had a rotation out of the Mag 7s and into some of the other names of the 493 stocks of the SP 500, which those stocks have done very well. But you can see the same thing in the NASDAQ here. We've got the NASDAQ, of course, and it's kind of flatlined here. Now, I do think we'll go back to the ES real quick, and then we'll move on. I do think we go higher. You can see we've got that green line is a tree line up here as a target up above us, and we also have, let's see, right here. This is an SPX chart, and I want to show you this real quick. Let me switch this to SPX. I want to show you. So I use Fibonacci levels primarily, and if we look, I'm going to take this to just a simple moving average, and I'm going to go back. Let's do, I don't know, 10 days. If we look at this, so this is SPX on a daily chart, and you can see the low down there, 6789. I had a support zone 86 to 88. So that level is that level. Work like a charm. Fibonacci levels are awesome. I love them. I use them in conjunction with other things, voodoo lines, and even moving averages and all that stuff. But I try to keep it pretty simple. Now, as you can see here, we are coming up into, you see this level 6930. That, see 2530s right there. That's that level we hit today. That point is that point. And if we can get through all this, which I think we will, we'll come up here and we have targets at SPX, a little over 7,000, 16, 28, 39, etc. So, I'm not changing my stance. I'm still bullish and all that. But what I do want to focus on and concentrate on is so tomorrow's Friday. Next week, we really get into all the big earnings. So next week, we'll have Apple, we'll have Microsoft, we'll have Tesla. Who else do we have? Meta, I believe. I know we got Boeing, United Health, Lam Research. A lot of names are going to be reported here. But wait, there's more. the 28th, we have Fed meeting. Now, the Fed is not expected to do anything at the Fed meeting as far as rate cuts and all that kind of stuff. Let me show you how you can tell that real quick, or very quickly. We go to here and we go to our Fed Watch tool, and you can see that right now, current target 350, 375, 350, 375 is the same. So there's a 95% chance of no change. That's expected. The Fed's not going to do anything until we get more data and time goes on a little bit more, right? There's a 5% chance that they'll cut, but probably not going to happen. But what's important is going to be the language around the Fed meeting. Are they dovish, hawkish, that kind of thing. So we, next week expect some volatility. I think we could get some, some pretty wild swings again. All the big earnings start then, and on the 30th we have PPI. So be aware of that as well. The following week we'll flip out here to February. Now we've got a lot more. The final of the Mag 7 kind of stocks will be out here. Amazon, Google, that type of thing, etc. So the next several weeks are going to be, we're going to have some a lot going on in the market, right? As far as the Mag 7s, if you did not know, we just found out a couple of days ago that the Mag 7s are the NASDAQ or the SEC has approved the NASDAQ to start going to intraday expirations on the Mag 7s, which is amazing. We've been waiting on this for a long time, but let me show you what that means if you don't know. So for example, on Google, if we look out here and right now, and these are on all the Mag 7s, we got Apple, Amazon, who else do we have? Apple, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, Nvidia, Tesla, Google. So right now, you only have weekly Friday expirations. So you've got the 6th, this is February, it's got to February. February 6th, February 13th, February 20th. 6, 13, 20, right? Well, starting, I believe it's soon. Is it February? It's coming up soon. I can't remember the exact date. But we will have, on the 6th, we'll have a Monday expiration. We'll have a Wednesday expiration. We'll have a Friday expiration. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, which will be amazing. It'll be awesome because that will allow us to really customize what we're doing with these trades on much shorter term time frames. If you trade options a lot like we do, that can really give you a lot more bang for the buck. And if you trade by the Greeks like I do, you know that you can watch your theta and your vega and all that kind of stuff can really help you. Plus, this is the first step, honestly, to going to daily expiration. So it's the same thing they did with the SPX. If you've been trading a while, we were first way back in the day when I started trading over 35 years ago. We had monthly expiration. That's it. Then we started with the weeklies. Then we did Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then we added Tuesday, Thursday. So now 0 DTE every day of the week. This will happen with the Mag 7s, and then we'll start going to additional stocks with volume in them, things like that. So anyway, very cool news. Great to hear that. Glad to hear that. Which brings me to the last point. I wanted to keep this kind of short. Is I have a trade of the day, and it literally popped up in my mailbox. Check this out. I'm trying to make sure you see that. Generac. I get this in the mail today, and I didn't request any information or anything like that. But I'm like, why are they? And I'm like, oh, okay. One of the biggest winter storms, of the year is barreling down on us right now. I'm sure that's why they sent it. Makes sense, right? So it made me start thinking about Generac. Now we've traded, if you've been at Simpler, we've traded this name off and on for several years. It's a good name. It was up around 500 at one point. We traded it up, traded it down. A little more volatile stock, but it's good for trading. I think we're coming into a point where we've got another pretty good shot at it, and let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to put my Darvis box and grab candles and all that up here. So as you can see, these are 34 EMAs, 34 moving averages, right? We're breaking above. That's a really good sign. To get the perfect entry, we would have entered down here. It's breaking out to the upside typically, which takes us at least, to this area or maybe higher, and then maybe we go higher. All that's very much in question because we have earnings out here. So take all this, with the fact that we do have earnings. Doesn't really change my opinion, I think. So earnings are on 211. I still think we can get a nice move out of it, right? And if we have an earnings report like this one, where we get a big bounce, then we're way up here again. Let me move this out on a little bit longer time frame so I can show you the kind of the potential. So as you can see, look at this, $524 back then. We've been kind of flatlined here for a little while. Still really good to trade, smaller time frames here. But again, setting this thing up for two reasons: for a potential run into earnings, which again will be on around February 12th. Now that's not confirmed. You see a little question mark. It's not confirmed. But February 12th. That's 2 weeks from today. We could put a trade on here for a run into earnings and be out before the earnings event ever happens, so we don't have the risk of earnings. Now I went back and checked the pre-earnings implied volatility runs about 54%. It's at 59. It's a little bit elevated, which is a good thing. That means that implies that there might be a larger than expected move, and that should continue to go up over time. Let me show you a quick tip real quick here. Earnings here, we get a vol rise into earnings and vol crush. Earnings, vol rise, vol crush. Earnings, vol rise, vol crush. Earnings, what's going to happen here? It's going to go up. They release earnings, go down, because this is the anticipation of the big question mark. What's going to happen? We don't know. So let's go over here. I'll show you a quick setup. Again, this is not a recommendation. It's just an idea, concept, right? So if we have earnings coming out on the 12th, we don't really want to target the 13th. Now, the day of earnings or the day before, yes, join us in the trading rooms, and we'll come in and we'll set up a trade, on the 12th for the 13th, and that'll be a lotto ticket earnings trade, whatever. We do those all the time, and those are a lot of fun. What I'm talking about is getting a run into earnings, and in order to do that, we don't have Monday, Wednesday expiration. We have Friday. So I'm going to go to the 6th, February 6th, right there. And if you look, we've got about a 15-point over here. We've got about a 15-point expected move, which gets us up to about 190. So I've already got this set up actually to save us some time. If we do a 180, 190 simple call debit spread for 6 February, we can get it for about 250. Again, this is just something for you to consider, not a recommendation, but an idea. So if we did that, and it looks like we can get it for about 250, if you did 2 contracts, you'd risk about $500. If this thing is at 190 on February 6th, it's worth $1,500. That's 3 to 1 on your money. Risk 500, make 1,500. That's max loss. Most you can lose is $500. Most you can make is 1,500. 3 to 1 is pretty good to happen in 2 weeks. And again, our expected move puts us from 175 to 190. It's 15 points. Boom, there's your target right there. The math says it works, right? Now it trades on NASDAQ. A lot can happen. The overall market can go down, and maybe it doesn't perform as we expect. Again, we have other earnings. We have Apple and again Meta and all that kind of stuff coming up before this happens. But again, if we go back here, that's what the expected move is suggesting: 175 plus 15, right? And again, that gets us up here. Now, one last thing. This is your break even right there. If you get to that point, you don't lose money. This is your line at expiration. This is your line today. So as long as you get to that point, then you could close this for $2.50, which is, if you look down here, 182 and a half, 182.50. If we get there, which is only 7 points away, then at least you break even. I always like to know that. It's good to know, right? So anyway, this is a pretty interesting idea. Of course, if and think about this too. The storm, whatever happens with the storm, I hope it's not bad. I know people, are going to be suffering with power outages and all that kind of stuff that we all go through, right? Not a good thing. What if the storm's super mild, right? Does it go down? Is that anticipated or what? But the thing about it is this storm won't be reflected on this earnings here. Now, if it's bad, the CEO might talk about it and say, sales have gapped up because this and this. And the same thing happens with hurricanes, with all other kind of, natural disasters, things like that. Because Generac, if you don't know, they are a generator power, mobile power generator company. And you can see these at Home Depot and etc. And really, really good generator. And you can do whole house generators as well, not just portable. So it is a good company, really good products, and very helpful in times of storms and things like that. So anyway, keep that in mind. If you have any questions, join us in the trading rooms at Simpler Trading. We're in there all the time, ready to help and give suggestions and ideas and concepts and things like that. So let us know if we can help. I'm in the bias room. I'm in the main room, but I'm also in the bias room every day, and we talk about this kind of stuff. But I thought this was pretty cool. I thought that's a pretty interesting idea. Again, looking at the chart, makes sense. Looks like it wants to break out here to the upside, and again, just looking at this on the surface, your target up there is about 200. That does kind of, I want to be out before those earnings, so keep that in mind. Anyway, hope that's helpful, and let me know if I can help. I'm Bruce at Simpler Trading, and or join us in the rooms, and hope that helps. Thanks for your time, guys. I appreciate it. I'll see you at the next update. Take care.
Without Simpler Trading, I could not have financial independence.
This is one of the best investments I ever made in my life.
It's helping me find consistency. It's one of the things that won me